Hello, welcome to Software Development with AI. Here you'll learn how to build apps using AI. Now, you will not need to really know how to code, right? But you're going to be learning how to build apps, with AI. You're going to understand modern software systems end to end. You're going to be able to think like a developer, and then you'll learn how to you learn the core programming logic and then be able to set up development environment and then use version control professionally. Right. So what is software development basically? It is solving real world problems with systems, right? You design, you build, you scale. Now we have examples like banking apps, e-commerce, ERPs, right? They may not be physical products, but they are solving real world problems and then now paid a lot of money for it. For instance, you can look at Amazon. Amazon is an e-commerce platform. Right? It has no single store, right? Does not really focus on product. Its products are all digital, right? Now, people that have all those things come to their platform and they use that to trade and then they make a lot of money. Uber does not have cars or at least does not deal in cars, right? But Uber provides a platform where car owners can interact with passengers and they get paid. So with software development, the first thing you're thinking about is solving real problems with systems. Now, types of software systems. We have the web applications, we have the mobile applications, enterprise systems, then you have the AI powered systems. All right, so here's the flow. All right, a user interacts with the front end. Everything you see in the application is called front end, but the front end is supported by a back end structure that actually holds everything in place. Then there's the database that stores all the data in the event, which provides the response. Now, core system components, of course, which is what I've explained. The front end, that's the user interface. The back end, which is the business logic. It controls all the logic, how we this react to this, and the behavior that will occur. And then database, which is the data storage. And all of these layers must work together. Now, this is login flow, step by step. So you put an input, it's an API call, validation, database check. Then it checks whether that user is registered in the database or not. Then it either accepts or it rejects that user. Now, programming is called structured thinking. It means break problems into steps. Variables store data. Conditions make decisions. Functions reuse logic. So I'll say it again. You break problems into steps. Very, very important. We don't do the whole lot. Go gradually, step by step, phases to phases. Then you know that variables are going to store data. Conditions will make decisions. This way we talk about logic. And then functions will keep on releasing that same logic. We're going to see that when we start the practical class. All right. So one example of a practical logic is the if statement. Like if balance is greater than or equal to a price, then approve. Else reject. This is used in real payment system. So maybe if the balance is, let's say this is a wallet, this is usually a wallet logic. So if someone making payment and the balance is greater than equal to the price, approve. If it's not equal to the price, if the balance is not in the wallet is not equal to the price or at least greater than the price, it rejects. A simple practical logic example. Now, the programming language you're going to be involved with, now, this is just for the sake of this class. There are several programming languages. Several. There's Oracle, there's Java, there's C, C++, Python, React, Flutter, and the rest. There are several programming languages, right? But we'll be focused on this. Now, with AI, you're not limited to any particular language. You can actually build on all languages, right? So development environment. So the AI code editor will be using with VS Code, right? With GitHub Copilot, all right. And then for backend, it's going to be on Node.js. You have to install Node.js runtime, and then of course you need your browser. So we can do our first program by just a simple function, and then it will execute that. Just you can type that code on your notepad, and then put into or your on your VS Code, I mean, and then it will build it, right? But again, we are going to build with AI, so we won't focus too much on that. All right. Now we're going to have to do okay, yeah. So we're going to have to be tracking your codes with GitHub. This is so important. Now, a lot of times, many developers get to build and they don't back up their codes on GitHub, and then something happens and then they lose their data and they have to start from scratch. All right, backing up with GitHub helps you preserve your data. Right, we're going to see all of that because what GitHub helps you to do is local version tracking. It also helps you with cloud code hosting, and then it collaborates with all the platforms available. All right, so here's a very simple developer mindset you need to understand: break problems down, debug and iterate, learn continuously, use AI tools, effectively. So we're going to be again we'll see this in practical terms. Just prepare your mind for that. All right. So this again an example of problem breakdown. Right. So you can say a login system component. So the UI with the API validate and then database and response. So for instance, you come into you say sign in your username password or email password, and you put that up. It checks the authenticator you're using, and it's going to say, okay, is this person registered in the database? If this person is in the is present in the database, approve. If else, reject. All right. So there's also session projects where you build a login simulation, input button validation, show success or failure. We'll do all of that practically when we're moving to the practical exam and class. All right. So key takeaways: software solves problems, apps follow structured architecture, programming is equals to logic, mindset plus tools is equals to success. Very important. So in the next session, we're going to learn how AI works in software development and how to integrate AI into apps.